Good afternoon, guys. This is Chad Kang, and I'm here to give you some great ideas about how to improve yourself and become successful. So, before we get into the topic, let me ask you guys something first. Has anyone in this room had ever imagined that you're good at everything and that people stare at you with sparkling eyes? I'm sure all of you have. I have a lot. People always desire to achieve something that astonishes others and prove that they are valuable. But things don't always turn out as we hoped, and we fail. For me, each time I felt guilty. I would ask myself, why am I not good enough? And compare myself with others. And as I reproached myself, I could feel that I would never be able to succeed, rather seeing myself becoming lethargic. I prefer to be safe than take a risk. And the carefulness that caused by my fear of failure had limited my potential. Until I made a small change in my life. Today, I'm going to talk about that little change I had which taught me how to step up. Now what I'm going to say may sound strange, but believe me, this will help you to progress easier than before. So here's the thing. If you want to take a big step forward, put your pen down and grab a bowl. What image comes to your mind first when you hear a name Chad? Maybe Korea, which is my nationality, or just an Asian boy who's good at math. If someone asks me to define me with a word, I'll say basketball is a perfect word to describe a person, Chad Kang. And as you expected, basketball is the little change I'm going to talk about today. I started to play basketball 4 years ago, and I'm still in love with it. At this point, let me brag how much I love basketball. So, even before I got here, I asked Vincent to register me for a basketball team. And here's my basketball team last year. Luckily, we won the final, and I won the junior MVP as well. This year, I made a social basketball team with my friends, and we're still in the league. So, I've experienced many situations that I would have never been able to go through by reading a book or studying math. And those situations inspired me some really important ideas about how to progress. So, this is a story about my winning streak a few years ago. Our team had been winning every single game we had, and it seems like no one could stop us. I've made every shot I took, and my teammates made their best plays in the game endlessly. And it couldn't be better. Then we heard that we have a game against a team that has been defeated by us. Since I was the leader of the team, I decided to have team dinner instead of the practice on the day before the game. It was the next day, we had our game, and the result of the game was a bit disastrous. We lost our game as they scored twice as much as our team. After the game, no one could say a word. I started to think what made us defeated by the team that we've beaten before. And I realized that success was the problem. Since I had kept succeeding to win the games, I was under the delusion that nothing could go wrong, which made me and my teammates not to practice enough and don't take a game seriously. And as a result, by losing that important game, our season was over. However, I believe that it has been worth it to make me and my teammates to be better players. After all, we practiced a lot without conceit for a better result, and we tried to do our best in every game even though the team we were facing seems really poor. And watching these changes happening helped me to understand the first idea about failure, which is failure is a great tool for keeping us humble. But the success we've tasted before didn't return so easily. Although we practiced more than ever and played every single game like dream did, we couldn't make any good records like before. And the deep sense of despair that comes from our continuous failure started to grip me and my teammates. We couldn't find any specific reasons for why we keep losing, and that's when we realized that we hit a very bad slump. However, although we figured out the reason, there hadn't been much change because there wasn't any clear solution to get rid of slump. All we could do was reflecting ourselves, and not too long after, I figured out that the solution was not too far away. In the meantime, I looked back on myself and asked me an obvious question. Why did I start to play basketball? The answer was even more obvious. I started it because it was fun. And this simple answer inspired me where to go and where to stop. Since then, I decided to enjoy the process rather than stick to the outcomes. I focused on how happy we were while playing the game and how we improved in the game than before, which brought me a greater joy than just the joy of victory. Furthermore, ironically, we started to win our games again, and we went to final. By experiencing that failure, we led to bigger success. And this outcome taught me the second idea about failure, which is sometimes failure becomes a great coach in our lives. After many ups and downs, our team had our final game ahead. Since I've never been to final before, I was so excited and nervous. The game was started as ref whistled. Because of the pressure that I had to make the best game, I missed most of my shots and made several mistakes. Though I didn't play that well, the game was fiercely contested. It was 20 seconds left. The score was 56-55 for opposing team. Then, suddenly, the ball bounced off the rim, landed in my hand softly. And as soon as I got the ball, millions of futures that I can make were drawn in my head. I had to decide quickly, either pass the ball to one of my teammates or carry the ball away and take my shot. My choice was to pass it, and as a result, it was the wrong choice. We lost our final as a guy in my team who got the ball from me missed a shot. After the game was finished, I was so sad and disappointed. I couldn't understand why did I get scared even before I tried. Perhaps I was afraid of all the blames that would have pointed at me if I didn't pass the ball and take my shot. However, this answer didn't help me feel better. It made it worse actually. Then I saw this famous saying from Wayne Gretzky: "You miss 100% of the shot you don't take," which taught me a really simple knowledge, which is I cannot succeed unless I try. And I figured out that besides from the outcome, I must take an action. This realization led me to the third idea about failure, which is failure is a natural consequence of any action you take, like success. Flashing back memories, I've learned many lessons about failure, which helped me to understand the deep value of challenging. Therefore, I challenged to study abroad, I challenged to be a newbie of New Zealand school, and I challenged to join the basketball team and win the final. I satisfy all these consequences that I've achieved by giving a shot. So here's the point. You can be successful only if you remember these three important ideas I've told you. Firstly, failure is a great opportunity to reflect yourself and keep you humble. Secondly, failure can become a coach to teach you where to go and where to stop. Lastly, failure is a natural consequence of any of your challenge. And if you remind these three important ideas, you'll be able to use failure to step up. Now, I dare you to go outside and grab your own basketball. Thank you for listening.